What is good, y'all? Welcome back to the April. Welcome back to a brand new video. We are here. We are back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about and just reacting to some of the trade rumors that we've been seeing. I do this at least like once a month throughout the season. The first month of the season or so has passed. We're about a month, like a little over a month in, and the Heat are currently 10-8 or 10-9 as we speak, or 11-9 or something like that. I don't exactly remember, but somewhere around there, they just lost to the Pacers. It was a terrible loss. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it a buck. It was probably one of the worst losses of the season. So just a mini recap of that game. We were without Bam, but they were without Halliburton, and Halliburton is their entire team. Like, their team is good. Like, they have some good pieces, but without Halliburton, this team lost by 50 to the Celtics in the start of the season. So there was no reason they should have won this game, and there was no reason they should have put up 142 points or how many ever points that they put up against this team. The Heat defense is absolute Swiss cheese, barbecue chicken, like Shaq says, without Bam. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I knew Bam was somebody who meant a lot to this defense, but I didn't know he was this meaningful and impactful until I saw the defense without him. It was straight layup lines for the Pacers. Straight layup lines. And the defense actually has been a little concerning over these first few games, is because I don't know exactly why, because in the offseason we did lose some scoring and shooting, but we did add defense. We added Haywood Highsmith into the rotation. We added Richardson and we added Jaquez through the draft. So naturally you would expect this team's defense to still be top 10 like it always has been. But right now it's at 16, and the offensive rating is actually higher at 14, which is crazy because the offensive thing that really struggles the most, not the defense. What is happening this season is that the point of attack defense has been absolutely terrible, which means our guards and wings at the top are getting blown by constantly nonstop. And this was happening even with Bam, but Bam is such a good defender who can cover up so many of the weaknesses, or be a nice backline of defense whenever a defender gets blown by, or be somebody on the perimeter who won't get blown by. Like, he just covers up so many holes of this defense individually that you don't really see the glaring issues with his defense until he's not playing. And guys like Lowry, Robinson were getting absolutely torched by TJ McConnell of all people. And then even Josh Richardson's defense is taking a dip too for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. So the defense will have to be addressed. We'll talk about that in a separate video if it gets too crazy. But 16th is very uncharacteristic for a Heat team that hangs its hat on its defense. Getting to the trade rumors, we're going to be talking about a couple of players here. There's a couple of guys that were linked to this team. We're just talking about guys who were involved in rumors. 3 of them are actually from the exact same team, and I think we all know that that's the Chicago Bulls. So we're just going to get started here. Well, the most recent one was that DeMar DeRozan, if he were to be traded from the Bulls, has the Heat as one of his 2 preferred destinations, the other one being the New York Knicks. I just speak for myself. I don't speak for the whole fan base, but I really do not think that DeMar DeRozan is going to help this team. First of all, you would have to throw in some contracts of Lowry and Duncan. Now, obviously, DeRozan's a better player than both of them, but the thing is, DeRozan just wouldn't be a good fit at all because he wouldn't be able to space the floor. And having him, Jimmy, and Bam would be kind of disgusting on offense. And even defensively, DeRozan isn't the best defender at his age right now. He doesn't really show much effort defensively. He's a very good scorer in the mid-post, in the mid-range area, and can definitely be a closer down the stretch. He was one of the most clutch players in the NBA last season. He can definitely be a guy who can close out games for this team, but is it worth losing a pick, or is it worth losing an expiring contract that we can trade away for somebody who can impact this team more or better? Is it worth losing shooting on? I just don't think so. I think I would stray away from DeRozan. I think the name is a good name, but don't think we should be name chasing. I think we should be looking at guys who fit this team who are also talented. And DeRozan is a very talented player, but is One of the worst fits for this team that I can think of because of his ability to not shoot the basketball anywhere outside the mid-range area. So I wouldn't want DeRozan on this team. Let's go to Zach LaVine. Now, Zach LaVine is somebody who I was actually pretty, interested in when the initial report came out that he and the Bulls were looking at trades. But after seeing that defense last night, I don't really know if I want Zach LaVine anymore on this team. Like, I feel like LaVine would just make this defense worse because, even though Lowry's not a good defender, LaVine is arguably worse than him. And him and Hero in the backcourt would be absolute. Like, that might be the worst defensive backcourt in the league. I just don't think it's a good idea defensively with our struggles this season to trade for a guy who's not a good defender and put him, obviously we can use that expiring contract of Lowry's on somebody else. You're also going to probably be losing out on Jovic in that deal too. Yeah, I'm not really too keen on trading for Zach LaVine, who's also a free agent, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of the year. I'm not too high on trading for him anymore. I was interested at a point, but this defense is the biggest issue for me right now, and Zach LaVine would make it worse. So I would stray away from Zach LaVine. The last two guys, however, I would definitely target if I were the Miami Heat. Now, number one is Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso is somebody who's on the Bulls. Again, he's a winning player. He plays winning basketball. He's a tough competitor. He's a gritty defender, but he's also shooting the lights out the three ball this season. I would love Alex Caruso, not just because of his player profile and his skill set, but also because he fits a need that we have to address, which is the point guard position. He adds depth to that position. We obviously have lost Drew Smith to a torn ACL for the whole year, and Lowry, can have his games where he's not playing that well. We can't just rely on him being our only point guard. We need some insurance for him, and I would say Alex Caruso is better than Lowry at this point. I would have him start and have Lowry come off the bench, and I think you have a very, very good team there. So I would definitely go after Alex Caruso. That would be my number one target I'm going for if I was the Heat. And then the second player that we're going to be talking about is Dorian Finney-Smith. He is somebody that the Heat were linked to as well, one of the 4 teams. I love Dorian Finney-Smith. I'm not even sure if he's going to get traded. He's probably the least likely on this list to get traded. But I feel like Dorian Finney-Smith would be an absolute immaculate fit on this team. He is an absolute lockdown defender, and he's shooting like above. I think he's shooting like 44-45% from 3 this season. He's very, very good. I love his game. I think he's a very, very good Swiss Army knife type of player. Highsmith, his shot isn't as consistent as Dorian Finney-Smith. Defensively, I don't think there's much between the two. So you can have Highsmith come off the bench, and you have Dorian Finney-Smith start a more consistent scoring threat, shooting threat than Highsmith. But also the defense is still there. Him and Caruso, I'm looking at if I'm the Heat as far as trade candidates are concerned. But yeah, we're going to wrap up the video there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. And we'll see y'all later as always. Peace.